Hi, guys, welcome back. We have another really interesting episode today, and we'll tell you all about it. But before that, this person, our guest today, has the ability to let the fabrics and the clothes and the designs speak for themselves. And he mixes the common designs with eclectic and create something beautiful, and you should check the designs out after you watch the episode on his Instagram. Please welcome Ujjwal Dubey from Antar Agni. Hi Ujjwal,
Hi,
how are you today?
very well. Good to be
Okay.
here.
Yeah. So, we'll of course talk about your designs and your brands and everything. But first, tell me and the audience, why Antar Agni?
It's a Hindi name, of course. Antar Agni, as the name suggests, means the fire within. The whole, the concept behind, because when I started the the kind of portrayal I wanted to do was a lot to do with the internal self and a lot of fire that we carry, all of us, a lot of emotions, a lot of body behaviors also, a lot of the human psyche, which kind of erupts and goes dormant in multiple modes. So it's kind of representation of that only. And I think till now, whatever we've done has been around those emotions and behaviors, everything else around the self. So that's why Antaragni
Are
means the
you a
fire
very
within.
philosophical kind of a person
I
in
don't know.
general?
Maybe I portray. I don't know.
You have those vibes, and even the name is like, it has such a deeper meaning to it.
I thought, I mean, something, it has to be meaningful for me to attach to and to fight for or to go with the flow with and to be genuine with. I wanted to be true. And I think what I was trying to portray to the medium, which is clothes, had to come from inside. And can't be more truthful than that, probably. I have to be. I had to be in all senses that I wanted to go ahead with. And my medium happens to be clothes. I'm a design person, and whichever way I wanted to come out with my products, I wanted some sense of great genuinity in it. And that's it. As simple
Got
as
it.
that.
Lovely. Okay. We've often heard this statement that it's always easier to think of an idea than to really execute it because the execution part takes a lot. Do you resonate with this fact? And, while you were building your brand, did you think of this often?
No, so I'm a very technical person. My interest lies in too much technicalities. So one of my, immodestly, if I may say, strengths would be the efficiency towards whatever I do. Every step in it, it can be a daily life thing, it can be the business life thing or the design life thing. And that has been the core. So everything that we've thought about in terms of idea, I kind of created the picture. So I'm a visualizer. I go very deep in the visual so that we can skip first four steps of making mistakes and go to the last one immediately to make it happen. That was a core idea, and that's how I was from the beginning of time, as far as I remember from school time or college time. And the technical part, because my love for architecture, love for technical bits here and there, automobile, etc., made me dive into it too much. And that kind of gave me a little edge in terms of my base learning. And those technicalities, of course, took its shape in my clothes as well. There are a lot of reinforcements, weight balancing here and there, multiple cuts and structures that are there, which they come from that technical side. So in my head, when we think of a design, this is going to be the look. I think the structure is ready in my head already in most of the time, in terms of how it's going to be made, how it's going to be falling, the feel and fall, how the person will look. So there are multiple facets that I keep in my head before it actually goes on the table, even for a sampling cut. So I make it in my head most of the time. So it becomes easy. I do not resonate fully with it. Of course, its execution is difficult when because it takes time. It takes a lot of back and forth. But with us, I would say it's like back and forth is 10% probably out of 100 that we do. So yeah, it doesn't doesn't take so much time also.
So I've seen some of like your designs, and like when I look at it, I can see like a shawl which is reimagined into something to fit like a new age design. So, how did this idea come about? Like mixing the ordinary with something contemporary is what you essentially do.
Yeah.
So, how did this idea really come to you?
See, something that bothers me is too much normalcy, right? I mean, we all find a comfort in classics. When I say classic living, classic way, where it's not too much on the either extreme, but that bothers me. We try to live on the either extremes, either the infinite time or the zero, and the mediocrity goes in that fidgetiness of mine, to be honest. So, because we are all about layers and silhouettes, we kind of define ourselves in a minimally maximalist form, where we go very minimal with the fabrics, we go maximalist with the silhouette. That allows a lot of freedom, to be honest, and also the habit of questioning always why not. And I question everything from the beginning. I know from the beginning of time. I remember
Were
the
you
way.
like that as a child? Like, the one who will ask 10 questions for everything?
Yeah. In my head, probably. Because I was very,
Okay.
very, very deeply introvert at that time and very underconfident to come out. As an underconfident kid, I had multiple ambitions of this is what I want to do, or random thoughts, to be honest. I want to be a F1 car racer also at one point of time. I want to do a rally driving and so many things. And multiple things came up. And I think that questioning gave me a lot of freedom, to be honest. It opened the horizons also with the brand, the acceptance of how people also treated it. And when we portrayed it, it was like a newness for this new language for the menswear when it came. And I really love that, people are accepting the clothes that we are doing for menswear, especially with a lot of drapes and layers. So I think that also gave me a lot of strength, to be honest. The What we thought genuinely when it came out got accepted well. It just opened my horizons in a different format only. So that's why the shawl and the classic combined together. We try to make it as simple as possible. No matter how complicated it looks on the outside, it should be like a t-shirt to wear on, right? So that's what the whole base concept is for, because we don't want to intimidate people also. However, some do get intimidated because
It looks
it
intimidating because
is.
it might look, oh, it's so complicated, but like, with all the
Yeah.
structures and the layers, but that's not how you want it to be.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the sometimes if I say that, when we talk about truthfulness, the self, I feel when the spine's straight and the chin is high, that kind of personality will immediately grab it. We don't have to convince and can never come out of it. It the outer skin just complements the inner content, and it just fits like a glove. And it's not just the fitting that I'm talking about. It's just about the overall a little personality enhancement that kind of drops in. And if you're toward taking a step, like a first step towards that self, the thought towards self, you'll sink in. And I know sometimes I think of it, ki maybe I'm making it too difficult for people because not everybody might be fighting to be in that direction. Doesn't matter. One thought is enough to go ahead.
It's ultimately what matters to you.
Yeah, it matters
Yeah.
to me 100% because
Yeah.
I am not just doing it for the sake of doing it. I'm a resigned person. Clothing being my medium falls into fashion. That this happens. But I think when I try to genuinely make something that really syncs with our personality, our body, our thought process, and it will definitely multiply what you are. And that's the addition that I'm looking at. And yeah, nothing else. It's as clear as that.
True. When you spoke about questioning everything, I think it's so important to question what feels right to you and what doesn't feel right to you, because most of the people really don't do that. They just follow like a norm that is set for them.
Yeah.
And of course, like things are changing and it's becoming better. So when you talk about personality, uh, how do you think clothes can define one's personality, and when did you realize in your life ki, oh, like, maybe my personality is sort of changing. I need to now dress like differently, or something like that happened ever?
When okay, let's go a little back. When we start a thought, or when we get a thought from anywhere, once you are in depth with it, everything that you touch, feel, be around with is kind of in the same synchronity. And be that clothes, the products you choose, the kind of environment that you choose for yourself, even when you choose to talk to someone, the kind of conversations you want to have, kind of people you want to hang out with, everything just falls in that similar zone, right? More or less. And this is what happens with the clothes also. It's nothing exceptionally choosy that you have to become to pick up something. I think when you are in that thought, you become that. But you have to be true to that depth. I'm not, if you're portraying that I am that thought, but I am not actually diving in and not being true to it. So a little integrity is required at the beginning, and the discipline also, to bring that self and the truthfulness towards genuinity or honesty, whatever term you want to give to it. Yeah, and that's it. I think then you pick and choose your own environments automatically, or you invite them in one way or the other. So nothing specifically exceptional in terms of choosing the garment or the kind of style.
So it all just flows. Like
Yeah,
once
because
you
you
have a
feel
thought,
it,
yeah.
and your hand automatically will choose things that will sync with you. Is the mood. It's a funny thing because a lot of people ask us about our process, and it's the mood period that we define. We don't have the boards. I can't restrict it, because I feel that when you're in a creative business of any sort, or even in a creative mindset, nothing can restrict you, not even time. So the timelines that you set, the restrictions that you bind yourself, of course, is important for your commerce, etc., etc. But in terms of thinking and the freedom of thought, I don't think such boards, 12 by 18 or whatever sizes you choose, I feel they're very restrictive. And I can't limit even my team, myself, or whoever joins us in terms of freedom of thought. It's definitely aligning to help people take reference from or stick to one thought, etc. But we call it mood period rather than the mood board. So once we decide on making a collection for the year particular, we dive into that thought, first thought, discussions happen, and then post that, our mindset has to be in the same zone till the time we execute it or finish it fully. And whatever the time frame is, it's 2 months, it's 4 months, it's 3 months, like what we're doing now also, preparing for the new collection, and it's going on for a good 3 months. Yeah, we start in July, roughly. July, August, September, yeah, so it's third month. In this process, as I said, when you are in that mind, whatever you pick and choose is kind
It
of what syncs with
automatically
it.
resonates,
Precisely.
yeah.
So same thing here in the mood period. So whatever we choose, the lyrics, the music, the kind of books we read, the texts we go through, the conversation we have, anything and everything kind of sparks an idea for a newer thing, which automatically syncs because you are like drenched in that thought. And you have to be drenched in that. So that is the fulfillment that I'm talking about. Once you are there, things become little easier. We don't have to run for newer elements, or I'll pick and choose one of these elements and probably jump onto it. We zoom in and zoom out a lot in terms of, we take tiny little things also, and we kind of dive into that history, to the theory of it, to even if it's like a physical element. And if there's no text involved, probably we'll just dive into the abstraction it can provide to us, in terms of patterns, motives, or whatever it can create for us.
That's a very deep
So,
explanation of things.
I'm
So
sorry.
no, I know, I'm
I'm just
liking it.
saying,
I'm liking it. Yeah.
I'm just saying what process is. So basically, when you said, like, for the personality, as you pick in the mood, same thing you do in the process. So because I'm being the same in both the cases, so I can only talk about myself. This is what I follow, and I feel that this should work with multiple people also. I'm sure it must be working. A lot of us don't, probably are unable to articulate it well or put it out there, or even get to talk to. That's all. no more difference. I don't think it's anything exceptional otherwise.
Understood. So you're from Gorakhpur,
Yeah.
and then you went to Calcutta.
Mm.
You studied at NIFT. So you have like different experiences from different places, right?
Yeah.
Gorakhpur, then Calcutta, then now Delhi. And if you've been anywhere else also, you should let us know.
Yeah, I did my industry exchange program from college in Australia for 6 months. I was there, studied
Okay,
there for
okay.
6 months during my college days only.
So
That's
you've
it.
had like different cultural
Yeah,
experiences.
a
So
little
do
here
you
and there.
think you incorporate these, like, when it comes to your design? Like, does it make
Yeah, yeah,
anything
yeah.
different for you?
Yeah. Anything and everything that I've seen, done, thought, or even like breathed is a part of my current existence, and it always portrays in here and there in some or the other ways, especially books also that I read or I used to read. I've stopped reading now,
Why? Why have you
but
stopped reading?
just didn't feel like. I
Okay.
used to like run before. Multiple things that I used to do, I've just like gone on hold for some time because I feel calmer, a little
Okay.
more calmer than
Usually,
before.
I've heard people reading books or listening to music to feel calm,
Hmm.
but it's the other way
I've done a
around.
lot in terms of, so I'm a sports lover, so I get involved in
Okay.
a lot of sports here and there randomly. That gives my calmness anyway. My work gives me a good high, and I enjoyed a lot. I don't know why I stopped. I just stopped because I didn't feel like I don't want to exert for some time, and then I'll get back. But the idea is to run a lot.
Got it. No, we were talking about the places that you've been to. So tell me things that you've picked, like, which have stayed with you,
I
a
can't really
particular thing.
pinpoint because,
Not
see,
really?
I went to
Yeah.
Australia in 2009. 100% what the processes they taught us at that time. They were teaching us A, B, C, D, to be honest, like basics. But the way they taught A, B, C, D was more than the A to Z, than the A to Z that we learned here, to be honest, in this country, in the college as well. That basic focusing on ABC was so good. In multiple ways you can do ABCDs in the way you can. I'm just giving you, it's a metaphorical thing here. The detail to basics, you can say, is the, and to achieve simplicity in the most uncomplicated way. I know simplicity in itself means not complicated, but to become simple in the most, like what we do and still call it simple, has it requires a lot of base detail that we go into to make it actually simple, and for the wearer also to understand, for us in terms of construction, every part.
So the experience you had in Australia was a lot better than what you had in
100%.
Calcutta, in NIFT.
100%.
I've actually heard this a lot, that the
In terms of education
yeah,
only.
in terms
In
of
terms of
education,
education,
like the
yes.
education system here, like let's say a person is studying in Delhi University, and the class timings would be like, let's say, from 10 in the morning to like 5 in the evening.
Yeah.
And then it's basically like they're not doing anything all day. They're just attending classes maybe once a week. They're not attending classes. Even teachers are not
Yeah.
coming for that matter. And it's quite shocking, like that way, to see ki where is the productivity
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And then still you think like it's such a prestige to get into it. Like, even the cutoffs, if you see, are like soaring high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about this? Do you think like it'll change or?
It should change. It should change because, again, you're not in a bookish industry, to be honest. It's nothing to do with your extreme finance or commerce. Or it's supposed to be about the head first, the mind, and it's that's the creative side calls for. Here, a little restriction, and sometimes I feel the faculties need to be upgraded. I mean, they need to upgrade themselves every now and then. They should be more frequent because as creative people, we are trying to become better at least 20-30% of ourselves every few months. Every few months, we aim at growing that much. So if you look at yourself 1 year back, was a different you and a
Of
lot
course.
different you.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't like certain parts of it. Same with me. And that's what I've seen there as well. People have been always they've been always taking new vocational courses to learn more, come back and teach to the kids, getting involved in other activities, come back and talk about those details. Small little basics,
So the
simple.
people who are teaching you are also constantly evolving and
Precisely.
learning.
How can you be like more strengthful in terms of uh, your knowledge and imparting knowledge and your self knowledge if you're not upgrading yourself with the coming time all the time? It's very important, I feel. If you become stagnant, I think this industry doesn't industry forget industry, the design
Any
as the
industry,
yeah,
any
any industry, I don't think it'll call you a flaw in no doubt, in no time. But especially with the design industry, it's important because there's no specific book that you follow. There's no specific curriculum. These are bound curriculums that are there. But we need to be shown the idea of when you value basics, when you value very simple things. We've been told to always value what looks nicer, is captured most, is acknowledged around the world, etc., etc. Oh, look what happened. Nobody goes and looks at the design of the kitchen utensil. It remains with you for 10 years without a flaw. It does its job equally well. It's 100% efficiency. Just look at that. And it's done by an artisan who's not even craving for some self-recognition. So in some way or the other, we have to talk about such basics because it's rooted. And we need to have some such sense of single-mindedness towards design with an unconscious devotion, I would say. Fully, first a conscious devotion, and it should reach a level where you are just devoted towards whatever you're doing. How basic. And then you grow. And as a personality, then you keep blooming here and there because you have your own energy. You will probably pollinate somewhere else. Here and there, you will take things, give things. I'm talking about core, proper design or art level of process, you can say, in terms of education. Yeah.
Understood. So all the efforts that you've put in towards like creating your outfits and the designs and everything, it has given you like a lot of recognition. Like I saw that the clothes were featured in Made in Heaven and other shows, and then you've also become like a celebrity favorite when it comes to menswear, multiple editorial shoots, other things. Do you feel that these recognitions kind of validate you or help you, or you just feel it's a part of the process?
You can always say it's a part of the process in retrospect. When you begin, I think a lot of such handholdings really make a difference. It makes a big difference, no doubt. It's fair for you to be superbly sure about what you're going to do. I'm going to launch a brand or do this, etc., which I never thought of in the beginning. I was just going with the flow, to be honest. I didn't even know that I'm going to do a clothing thing. However, before that, I took a process that, okay, I'll prepare myself for this in terms of my willpower. If I can go through this, I can do this, etc., etc. So I did certain things just to make my mind a little more stabilized, more cemented in terms of taking things. That it can be here and there. It can go south also. But in the beginning, when the recognitions came or some shoots came, etc., etc., it definitely made me feel very good. No doubt about it. And that definitely pushes. But the point is, that's where you need to hold your ground also. I'm not saying being a human, I also flow out, no doubt. But I've been very conscious about not taking it too much into my head and be grounded in terms of my creation, at least.
Understood.
And that's all.
Got it. You work a lot with menswear, and so tell me, ki what is like a risk that you feel that men should take that they are not taking?
In terms of clothing, I'll give you an example. For example, if you look around in your corporate spaces also, non-corporate spaces also. I was having a conversation with one of the corporate people who happened to manage the design as well as the commerce and find a marketing bit in the center of it. And they were talking about how do we recreate a shirt and why have we taken shirt and not gone into an Indian version or seen it as an Indian counterpart that can go into regular wear, everyday wear. And we're thinking about it, why actually? Because homogeneity. I think once you wear a classic shirt with your classic denims or formal outfits, you mostly enter a place with full of people with 90% shirts, probably. It makes you homogeneous. In the crowd, you're mixed most of the time. Not everybody is so attention seeking, and the best of shirts can work. But this little twist that I feel from the Indian point of view, people should take is get away from this daily single format that you follow. A little allowance of experiment. I think people, especially with our clothes, when we do a lot of drapes, people do mention sometimes, oh, it's a little more feminine. Oh, like, so what's wrong in it?
Yeah.
So what's wrong in it? Is this a part of us, isn't it? I don't think your sympathy, your concern, your compassion, or anything that is the whole thing around design and art is feminine, I feel.
No, as
Why
a
not?
human, we have like a feminine and like a male side. Like every
100%.
you, me,
You
everyone.
can't be a complete man without knowing the inner woman.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to. And that's the inhibition. And I think that's a more of a conditioning that we grow up in. And it's also the kind of conditioning that we grew up in the beginning and also continue later with our peers in some way or the other. Some are freer, some are not. So those judgments here and there probably do affect the mind. But I think the person should be strong enough to take it also and impart it also properly. Yeah,
Lovely.
that's all.
Okay, coming to lighter questions. So now
Yeah,
we are
please.
entering fall. Okay. So tell us like your top picks for fall fashion. From your brand or from anything, that's totally fine.
We are coming up with a lot of structured silhouettes also this time. Good 30%, which I had never done, but we are doing it in our own way. When I talk about structured silhouettes, are little Western cuts also kind of mixed and merged with our drapes and layers that I'm actually looking forward to and very excited about, to be honest. After like very long, I'm thrilled to be doing this collection. Excited to be showcasing on 10th of October also this year. So I think the structured part that I'm talking about is the most exciting thing for fall that I'm looking forward from from my brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in general, like, see, when it comes to fall, like, I'm all excited about the cherry reds and, like, the hot chocolate smelling kind of a thing. So, is there anything like that for you?
We are all black. We are mostly grays and black. In fact, we are like darker grays. We are shades of grays mostly. We have done colors to break away from our own monotony. After like 6-7 years, we started doing a little bit highlights here and there. And this one also we are introducing, but they're like, so what we do is we pick a color, even if it's a fresher color, like you're talking about cherry, we dip it in a little gray. So it becomes like a grayish red.
Okay.
It's not exactly the same. So I'm all about grays. I think if you ask me, always consistent favorite with good accents, good highlights, and red is one of my favorite colors too. And those emeralds, I'm talking about the forest greens.
Oh, yes.
So they work really well. So this is what we're showcasing also. We did some very interesting purple blacks, which work very well with the falls. So I'm talking about this because I'm actually into it right now. We're doing for the fall, and these are the colors I've been imagining. So here it
Lovely,
is.
lovely. Okay, another fun question. So now, like, see, there are so many concerts that are happening, like in India right now. There's going to be Coldplay, there's going to be Cigarettes After Sex, and of course, Diljit. Yeah. Are you like a concert person or
I used to
not?
do a lot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I used to like travel to Pune and wherever. I think Pune is a hub for concerts. So that was one place where I used to attend NH7, mostly in Delhi and Pune that I've
Yeah.
done. Not much around the Desert Fest that happened. I'm looking forward to those as well. Mostly that. Yeah.
So coming to Diljit's concert, okay, like the tickets just got sold out at a blink of an eye, okay?
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't buy it, but I'm saying like everybody went crazy, okay? And Diljit has sort of created like a different personality for himself altogether. What contributes to that kind of a stature or a status for somebody that people are going so crazy behind you, like according to you?
Again, I think it's a big role of being truthful towards your work. Honestly, I'm sorry, I'm repeating the same thing. Honestly, I don't think you can fake out anything for a very long time. Even if you do, it is going to be momentarily, or it can't be publicly done all the time with such consistency. And what I find, what I see, in fact, I had a chat with him long back before he was going to do the concert, like 3-4 years back, about doing one of the outfits for him.
Yeah.
And somehow something happened and we missed the opportunity of dressing him up, especially for this lungi and other thing. I think the kind of person he's very, very sorted, very clear about himself. And there's no outer speck that comes and falls and he decides on it. I feel so. This is my observation for him. And there's very, very the good neatness in terms of, even when I see his Instagram also, there's a different level of,
He's very candid.
Very
I feel.
candid.
Yeah.
It's a different level of humility altogether. And the energy that comes with. And the confidence of the singing, I think it's a mixture of all. You can't really pinpoint one thing. There's multiple things that
Would love to see Diljit in Antar Agni.
I would love to. Oh, my pinpoint.
Yes. Okay, so that was it. We play like a small game before we end. So you have to be quick about this.
Oh, my.
Okay? Yes.
Okay, I'm very bad at all this. But still,
Fine.
let's see.
Last show you binge watched?
Late 1990s, The Sopranos.
Okay, fine. A quote you resonate with more: keep calm and carry on, or no one is you and that is your power. I think I know this answer by now.
I think both.
Both? Okay. Okay, wait. A weird
I think the
place.
first one more, of course.
First one more, okay.
Sometimes that feeling comes in the urge, but yeah, it's different.
Got it. A weird place or thing that you derived your inspiration from?
Weird place, Afghanistan.
Okay.
I would say weird because, of course,
Yeah, of course.
very unlikely to be derived something from. But I once saw something in this movie, Iron Man movie, that really stuck in my head. And also a book called Khalid Hosseini's book, The Kite Runner.
Yeah.
That went through my head and stayed.
Lovely. Okay. Where do you see Antar Agni in the next 5 years in one word? It's a very interview type question. but
Worst
yes.
question to be asked, never thought.
In
Always
one word.
despise people for asking this.
Oh, please don't despise
How do I
me.
describe? See, I think I have only one vision to make the brand most desirable around the world if you can.
So desirable.
Desirable. That's it. Keep it to that level there.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so that was the end. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
doing
much.
this.
Thank you. Pleasure. Mine.
And hope to see you soon. Yeah,
Likewise.
thank you. Thank you guys for watching. We had a lovely time chatting. I hope you guys listened to it. Please do comment in the comment box and like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Bye.